Mic check, mic check. We're doing a mic check. Let's make sure we in here. Make sure my vocals good. Looks good right there. Let me get a thumbs up in the chat box if you can hear me. Thumbs up before we get started. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yeah, it's been a while since you saw me live, Big Unk. You know, had some things to do around the crib. You know, I'm gonna take these blue light glasses off so y'all won't be reflecting in the thing. I want to make sure my old eyes don't go too bad on me. But yeah, it's been a while. You know, I had to refresh my battery, get my juices going again, and I took a little time off and threw a few spotty videos in there, here and there. But I'm good, ready to go. Starting off with this content, doing the top 9 at 9 tomorrow, and I know you guys kind of like when I do that. You tune in for that, so I got that list done. And I don't know if you saw my post earlier, but got a little contest going. So if you DM me on IG, and you guys know my Instagram. It's Sip the Tally. If you DM me the same list as my top 9, I'll send you some Instagram merch. And the thing is that's going to close at 9 o'clock tomorrow, because that's when I'm going to start the top 9 at 9. So if you DM me the same list that I have, and my list is done, so I ain't gonna cheat you if you get it. But so you can have a chance to win some Sip the Tally merch. I got a few things over there in the store, and I get them and send them to you. So that's what that is. But today, as you can see by the thumbnail, we talking wide receiver position. A lot of stuff has been going on. Discussion. Who should we draft? Who should we pick up in free agency? And really just, I'm like whatever, because I got my thoughts on it. But I got some people with me that's gonna give their thoughts, and I potentially may have an outsider coming in to give their thoughts about the wide receiver position in Baltimore, the state of the wide receiver position in Baltimore. So without further ado, let's kind of start bringing in our guests. First one we have up, we got the lunch break hot take crew with us today. First one we're going with is Jose.
What's going on, Coach? What's going on, Ravens Flock? Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you. And before I go into your info, I'm going to bring your cohort in with you. We got Brodney. So what's up, Brodney?
What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
All right. For those that don't know, tell them where they can see your stuff.
Lunch break hot take, man. Just Google lunch break hot take. We'll show up, man. We do podcasts. We got a YouTube channel. We do a lot of Ravens and Panthers YouTube, but we do all things NFL, NBA. We're gonna start doing a lot of NBA videos, UFC, boxing. So if you're into sports, man, check us out.
So they do a wide variety of sports, not just Ravens content, but it's great content whatsoever. So make sure to give them a like, give them a follow.
Content, though, man. Live Ravens content. So if you're a Ravens fan, we got you.
Hell, I got to talk to somebody and kind of coax them the way they're supposed to be. But again, we're going to talk about the wide receiver position. So everybody's been talking about, what we should do at the wide receiver position. Some think it's the number one need. Some, think it's down the line. Or some people, I saw somebody that strongly suggested that if we get any wide receiver, it's wasting a first round pick. But without, further ado, let me get into the few questions that I have about it. So initially, just give me your initial thoughts about the wide receiver position in Baltimore. Just the general overview.
Well, you want to go first, or you want me to go, B?
I'll go ahead. I think that generally in Baltimore, historically, they haven't been very good at finding wide receivers, right, through the draft. Right now, they got a lot of young guys there. You got Hollywood, who, he had some struggles this year, but he played through it. He came out the other side, I think, better. I think that he's a strong receiver for them moving forward. So I think they're fine with him. Can't really say the same about Miles Boykin. I don't think that's going to work out. Personally, I wasn't very high on Devin Duvernay. I think that he's got the desire, right, and he does have some good traits, but I think he's more of a gadget type of wide receiver. But I think that if they get creative, they can get a lot of production out of him. James Prochet, I mean, he has some nice hands, but I don't know that you're really going to get much else out of him. He's fine for the end of the depth chart in Baltimore, and hopefully, you hope in a couple years he develops into something a little more. I think that they really need to attack the wide receiver position this offseason.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Hollywood Brown is a keeper for sure. Is he a true number one? I don't know if he's that. He's definitely not that right now. Like B said, Duvernay, Prochet, like, we just haven't seen enough production from them to really trust them like that. And look, Lamar is the star of this team. We should want to get our star quarterback a star wide receiver, right? If we fall a little short of that, that's fine. But like, you should try to surround somebody like that with the best talent that you could possibly get. And I just don't see that effort being put into the offense like they put into the defense. So that's why me and B we do the hashtag defund the defense. That's it's kind of a joke. Not saying completely ignore the defense, but we invested so much in the defense. Stop investing more in the defense and start investing in the offense.
Yeah, it's gonna have to happen. It's because of so much money that's on the defense. Those guys are getting older.
Yes.
And in the NFL these days, you got to have offense to win. You can't be that was that 01, 02, whatever that year was, the first Ravens Super Bowl. That type of game don't really exist anymore. No. You got to have some offense to match your defense. And your good defense going to help you, but you got to have some offense to match your defense.
Absolutely.
But while we talking about position, let's try to kind of and y'all can help me out. List the guys in the position first. We talked about Hollywood. Mm-hmm. They got you mentioned Duvernay. We mentioned Boykin. So other than those three guys, we have Prochet, which is a personal favorite of mine. I think he runs better routes than Duvernay, and I think he has better hands than Duvernay. I don't think he's as explosive as Duvernay, definitely not as fast, right. Duvernay being a 4-3 guy, but I think he's a better receiver than Duvernay. But Duvernay just got, Duvernay can catch a bubble and go to the house. I don't think Prochet can do that. Right. Duvernay can catch a hitch or a slant, go to the house. I don't think Prochet can do that. And who else is in that group? Because those Dez, and I don't think Dez is coming back.
We had Willie Snead. I'm not sure Willie Snead coming back.
Yep. And what the pros and cons of Willie Snead in the offense? Because I think he's about to he was kind of phasing himself out. He had a little run of 2 or 3 games where he had maybe even one game where he caught like 4 or 5 balls, got some, and all of them were first downs. But for the most part, what he does for us, I think another tight end can do that. What are your thoughts on Willie Snead?
I love Willie Snead because like he was one of the more reliable wide receivers we had, right? Like he didn't have as much talent, but like he was he's gonna catch the ball, and he's gonna run hard and get those extra yards, to move the sticks. Something that we just didn't see those other wide receivers do, and I think that's attributed to him coming from an offense in New Orleans, where he was already more polished and more developed than these other wide receivers. So right. he didn't need to be coached up. He just knew what to do when he came in here. But yeah, it's time to move on and try to upgrade. And I agree, get another tight end in there. Right, we got rid of Hurst and we never replaced him. I mean that hurt our offense as well. So yeah,
right. No. I think that was one of the biggest things that hurt more so than not having a number one guy, because you can do so many things with that third tight end that's in the mindset and the framework of Hurst, because he was fast too, and then you had 2 legit blockers, and you had that guy that was basically a big receiver. But that tight end conversation is a something for another day, because if everybody know who I love as a tight end in this draft, but we ain't gonna go there. We talking about receivers. All right. So with that being said, let's go into the other question I have. Matter of fact, I just transitioned right into the question. I'm sorry. What's a more pressing need, wide receiver or tight end? So
I'm going to say definitely wide receiver. Okay. I personally kind of like Jacob Breeland and his potential. I'd like to see him get a shot in Baltimore. He missed all last year. I believe it was a torn ACL, but he missed all last season. I'd like to see him
from Oregon, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But for me, it is definitely wide receiver, because you're going to reach a point, and Baltimore's seen this the last 3 years. You're going to reach a point in the season where you got to have guys who can win outside, and they just don't have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean that's pretty much it. Like we said.
With that being said, before I go to you, Jose, having guys to win outside. Even if we do have guys to win outside, can we get it to them? And I know that's a taboo question because of Lamar's situation. Can we get it to him?
Yeah,
Lamar can get it to him.
Yes,
he can. You got to get some. You have to have talent for him to throw it to. You know, before we really want to say, hey, he can't do it. You know, I mean, his passer rating to outside the numbers is good. It's just you're throwing it to Miles Boykin, and you're not going to do it very often.
And also, those it's a two-way thing, right? Like, okay, you got to be able to make those passes, and those wide receivers have to know how to get open on those outside, how to run those right routes, how to turn over the shoulder and make the catch. You know what I'm saying? How to locate the ball. Like, these are young receivers. Some of those guys might be able to figure it out, but right now they're not there, right? So, and if he can't, and if he's not good at making those throws, that doesn't mean don't give him talent. You got to get him more talent. Get some guys that can adjust to the ball better. You know what I mean? So, like, either way, get him talent. Yeah.
So, same question, and you may have given your answer. What you think wide receiver is a more pressing need than tight end?
Yeah, wide receiver. Definitely wide receiver. And I think Lamar wants it too.
Yeah, I think most of us do. Now, with that being said, and this is not on the agenda, but I don't know. I've been following Williams for a long time because, most of you know I coach high school football myself. And so I found Williams on Twitter probably about 4 or 5 years ago when he was still at Nebraska. Sure. And his videos and every little thing that I can take from his videos and implement it with my kids is gold. So when I saw us hire him as, basically the assistant wide receiver coach, I was ecstatic because I'm telling you, if you don't know about Williams, he had wide out Wednesdays and different stuff he's teaching guys to do. Good. The dude know his stuff. Good. And if anybody can start to change the wide receiver coach in Baltimore, I think he can be a part of it. And if I'm not mistaken, T is the wide receiver coach, right?
Yes, he's a wide receiver coach. Yeah. Williams is the pass game coordinator, I believe.
So Williams is the assistant wide receiver coach.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
But and I don't know how good T is as far as coaching, like the technical side of receiver. Yeah. But I know Williams knows it. I've heard him enough to believe in what he does, and I think they brought a guy in. I think they basically brought in a route specialist. That's what I see it as. You teach these guys how to run routes, the technical part of it, and then T will be the X and O guy, and then we got problem, potentially solving it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that those two hires were a great sign moving forward for maybe that they're starting to kind of change their philosophy a little bit on offense, and they realize that they need to improve the pass game. With that said, obviously hopefully they can come in and improve Miles' game and improve Devin's game and Prochet and everything, but you still want to bring in the talent also. There's nothing wrong with having multiple good wide receivers on the team.
No, not at all. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny because me and B were talking earlier today, and I was gonna ask you, Coach, like the importance of those position coaches, because another one of our position coaches just took a job. When I say Michigan, a running back coach, and we just slid somebody else into that position. It's just like, are these guys even specialists at those positions? A lot of times, it's just like you're just taking a guy for one position and coaching another position. Does he know what to do there? But we got that feeling with T. Martin and Williams that those guys know what they're doing. So hopefully that pays dividends.
So to answer that, I think you have to be not necessarily have to play the position, but have knowledge of the position. Playing it helps. Or have been a long-term coach in that position. So like in our situation, I know it's on a much smaller scale. This is my 16th, going on my 17th year coaching. All of those years, I've either been the OC or wide receiver coach, or both, and so to speak. So anytime it comes to wide receiver play, I feel like I know what I'm doing. So if I ever get a chance to do something on a higher level, I'd be the most comfortable doing wide receivers, even though I know running back and O-line and quarterback, but I would feel the most comfortable doing wide receiver. And what I think is that's what they did with Williams.
Okay, good.
Because even though some they do take like O-line coach and moving the running backs and stuff like that, I don't think you can learn the position, but I think it helps you to have somebody, either you've done that for a long period of time or you've played that position. And not necessarily saying playing is the best Because some people that play the position can't coach it.
Right.
Look at Magic Johnson. Look at Mike. Magic's probably one of the greatest players ever to play basketball. Couldn't coach with a lick.
That's true.
Because you expect everybody to be able to do what you can do, and
That's
everybody
true.
is not like that.
Yeah.
You got to be able to teach position. So, but I think they're going in the right direction with those two hires, and I hope it pans out because I'm behind them on that. I'm thumbsing up that, but I don't like
Absolutely.
when they bounce guys around the positions. Find you somebody that's got a history in that spot,
Right.
and on the NFL level, you got to have a history in that spot. At college you can try that. You can move them around and whatnot, but NFL, find a guy with history. Like I like the Ryan hire.
Yes.
I really do.
Yes.
Anything on the now with that family, anything on the defensive side of the ball besides DBs, I believe they can do it.
Yeah.
D line, anything in the front seven, the Ryan family got it. The Ryan and maybe even DBs, but I just
especially at linebacker for Ryan, because like tackling is a big part of his attitude, right? He gonna make sure that they have the right attitude when they go out there. So
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more to contribute with the hires, because there's been a lot of movers and shakers. Like I think Marlon Humphrey tweeted out, their first practice gonna be like a meet and greet because everybody's gonna be gone. But back to the wide receiver part of it. What free agent wide receiver will fit in Baltimore's scheme that's out there?
You want to go, B?
Yeah, obviously, I would like for them to go after just Allen Robinson, right? He's the top guy, the most talented guy out there. I recognize that's probably not going to happen. That's not really a Baltimore thing to do. So my guy in this free agent class, and part of it is because I'm a Panthers fan, but it's been Curtis Samuel. And he's a guy who can play outside or in the slot, and he can play in the backfield.
Yeah.
And hopefully take a few of those carries away from Lamar. I don't think they need to be running him 13 times a game. But yeah, he's crazy athletic, real explosive. He's great with the ball in his hands. And for Baltimore, he's a guy who knows how to find the sticks on third down and convert it. And I think that would be a great help for the Ravens.
Yeah. For me, I want a talented wide receiver, right? I'm not worried about scheme because the scheme that we run now just can't last forever. Lamar can't keep playing like this. You can't keep running him 10 to 15 times a game. So something's going to happen one way or another. I don't think we're going to be running this type of offense for much longer. So the scheme part of it, I'm not worried about. Once we transition to a new coordinator, new coach, or whatever, or they figure something out, I want to make sure the talent is there. And if you got one of these top tier wide receivers, they can fit in any scheme. You know what I mean?
So with that being said, are you thinking or in the mindset that this is probably Roman's last chance to get it right?
Yeah, I think Roman's going to be gone because I think quietly Harbaugh's on a hot seat. They're not going to come out and say it, but I think he can't have another disappointing year, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't see the offense take that next step, especially when they're getting ready to pay Lamar, right?
Mm-hmm.
They invest a lot in them. They're not gonna be happy with that. So if the beginning of the year they're not off to a hot start, I think Harbaugh will be gone. Because for as much as Harbaugh likes to hire his friends, he got no problem firing his friends either,
mm-hmm.
right? So I think. You got T. Martin in there, you got Williams in there, pass game coordinator. You might see a switch mid season. Harbaugh will do whatever it takes to keep his job. So we'll see. Right. We'll see about that.
Just to be clear, you mean that Roman will be gone mid-season, not Harbaugh?
Roman will be gone, mid-season. Okay. Yeah. Roman, yeah.
Now, think about that. If because of our unique style of play, mm-hmm. how beneficial would it be for us to try to get rid of Roman mid-season? To me, that's almost like a wash because whoever you bring in is not gonna be the option-y type dude. If the person they bring in is gonna be like a pro style guy,
right?
It's gonna be tough to transition, and even if it's on a bye week, it's gonna be tough to in 13 days to transition from what we do to traditional football, so to speak.
Right. Well, if we are making that change, that means something's going wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're already trending in the wrong direction.
So we're probably below 500 and sputtering. Okay.
And I would rather just switch up and protect Lamar. Cause I just don't like that he's running so much. Like it's fine now, he's young, right? But your quarterback shouldn't be your lead running back, yo. So I would prefer just having to switch and just tough it through that season, and they work it out in the off season if that's what it is.
With that said, I think that we people pile on Greg Roman a lot, and some of it's deserved. He hasn't done a great job, right? But he also hasn't had the tools there. You don't have the tools to have a great pass game there. So if they go out and they get one or two receivers in free agency, or one in free agency, one in the draft, whatever it is, you improve that position. I don't think you'll see Greg Roman actually get fired. I think the offense will be fine.
Yeah.
Talent kind of wins out, right? Coaching is important, but if you don't have the talent, it doesn't really matter who your coaches are. And if you have the talent, you can kind of cover up for bad coaching.
That's true.
I saw that a lot with Mike Shula in Carolina. But so I think if they go out and they really improve that position, Greg Roman will last through the year, and then hopefully, like what's his name before him, he can just get a job and leave, and they'll bring in a new offensive coordinator.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, I want to piggyback off the point you mentioned, Jose, about Lamar's running. And I'm a big proponent of, I always say, his runs should be on broken down passes. That's when, to me, when his runs are the most effective. And while you were saying that, I just thought about some of the plays Josh Allen made. Josh Allen's fairly athletic. I mean, he's not, nobody's Lamar, but Josh Allen is fairly athletic. And he got so much better with his arm that his scrambles were key, like almost first downs every time.
Yes.
Because you had to respect his arm talent and what he began to do with his arm. So when he scrambled, they were for first downs, and he rarely got touched.
Yeah.
He had enough space to either get out of bounds or to slide, or or to extend the play and whatnot. So his game outside the pocket became almost Russell Wilson like.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that versus a rival quarterback, but his maturation was ridiculous from last year to this year. It's like it was a totally different quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did he start out? Right, he scrambled a lot. Everything that they said about Lamar, right? Like
Josh Allen was doing it.
That's what Josh Allen was doing. I think he had more interceptions than touchdowns his first year. He was throwing for like 53%. Throw on the runs. One read and then tuck it and run. Like he was doing all that stuff.
Yep.
But credit to Josh Allen, he put in the work. The organization said, "Look, we're going to protect you on this O-line. We're going to get you the protection. We're going to get you a star wide receiver. And you're going to work through this." And yeah, he made that transition. And yes, you can still run it if nothing's there, but look to your receivers and make sure there's something there before you run it. We can do that with Lamar. Lamar has shown you that he can throw the ball. I don't think that's an issue at all. I just miss anybody saying that he's not a good passer, or even that he's limited. Like, I mean, what does it mean by limited? Like, not everybody can make all the passes except for Rodgers and Mahomes, right? So he's fine. Like, he can make all those passes. Like, we had to transition from what we're doing to something more advanced in the offense.
I agree. Our offense has to open up. We've seen what's the word I'm looking for? Little wrinkles that Roman has put in.
Yes,
but there's not been enough explosion in the offense, because even with the talent that's there, and that wide receiver, it's not the greatest, but even with that talent that's there, we still should
do more,
40-50 points a game.
I agree.
Simply because you have to respect the run, so that means receivers getting one-on-one, and all NFL receivers love one-on-one.
Yes.
All. And the fact that our guys were not winning those one-on-ones, or we weren't getting them the ball, or it just was a combination of things. I don't think it was they didn't win one-on-ones. I think when they won, sometimes we didn't get them the ball, and that's obvious on some Hollywood throws. Sometimes they didn't win. Early in the season, Hollywood was being pressed to the sideline and couldn't win. Wasn't doing the proper things in his routes. Tight ends, Mark have drops from time to time. So it's all of them. It wasn't just one particular thing you could add out, but the passing game as a whole definitely got to get better.
Well, I said it a while ago, man. Like, I think it was on Engraving Stream. We're all on there. It looks like they don't practice passing that much, right? Sometimes they get out there and it's just like they don't look comfortable running these routes. Like, I mean, you saw in the Kansas City game, they ran into each other on one of those plays. Right, you and I talk about it all the time. Like, the O-line is always getting these pre-snap penalties, these false starts, illegal shifts, and all this stuff that indicates to me you don't really practice that play like that.
Right.
Now
their time was extremely limited. Via COVID.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
That's probably part of it. But 31 other teams didn't have those pre-snap penalties like we did, or at least we don't know about it because we watch primary. You know, we focus on the Ravens. We watch other football, but we focus on the Ravens, but it's just obvious on us because they happen at the most inopportune times.
Yeah.
Are there any receivers that? No, go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say to what you were saying about sometimes they're not getting open, sometimes they're not getting the ball to them. That is something that that I've pointed out before. A big part of offense in the NFL is just going for it, like being aggressive, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that happens in Kansas City also, right? Like Pat Mahomes misses throws in Kansas City. We just don't, nobody focuses on it because they run it right back. They throw it downfield again and they make the play. Yeah. In Baltimore, okay, Hollywood beats his man. He's open downfield. Lamar misses the throw, and then you don't see him take another shot, right? Or there's a drop, and now the drive's over, and we don't see it. You don't see them going for it again. Kansas City's offense is so good because they are so aggressive. They're always trying to move the ball down the field and score every single play. And I don't get the feeling that is something that Baltimore has been interested in recently.
I agree. If anything goes wrong, it's like forget this passing stuff. Let's just run it down their throat, and if we get it, fine. If we don't, fine. But this passing stuff is a thing of the past. But the thing is, you don't have to hit on all those shots.
No, you don't.
You got the threat has to be there to get people out of the box so we can run the ball. There's no way that obviously Lamar's probably gonna always average over 5 yards a carry. But whoever the other two running backs is should be hovering 3.5 to 6 yards per carry because nobody should be in the box. Because with Hollywood and whoever else we bring in, and with Andrews, they should a command safety help. But we got to have somebody else to be that burner. And I thought Duvernay would be that guy, but he didn't get a lot of reps at it. They kind of put him in the slot. Prochet is not a burner, so he's more like it's like to me Hollywood, Prochet, Duvernay, Snead. Even though they got their own different traits, they play the same position to me.
Yeah.
They're inside guys. Even though Hollywood's a blazer, but he's still a inside. And Hollywood has number one speed, but slot guy body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want to get those guys over the middle, get them in space, get them the ball, and let them make plays.
And you kind of got to put Hollywood outside because you don't want to get him broke up over the middle. So he's kind of in between that spot. So we need somebody, I think, to be, that dude. And he ain't necessarily got to be a number one guy, but he got to be a guy that flashes number one stuff and can go get stuff and can make them tough catches and can win you some 50-50s because Hollywood ain't going to win too many jump balls. No disrespect. Hollywood's a small dude.
Yeah. So how you feel about Corey Davis?
That's one of the names that inspired me to do this. Now, with Corey Davis, I'm not sold on Corey. And the reason being is because, if you kind of go back and look at some Tennessee stuff, he had the dropsies too. And if it not for AJ being on the other side of Corey Davis, I don't know if Corey Davis' name is even spoken of.
Right.
Because AJ's commanding all that coverage, not Corey. And if we don't have another receiver that's going to command coverage to give him the one-on-one, he'll be the one getting, you know what I'm saying? He'll be the one getting the bulk of the coverage other than Andrews. So I don't know if he's a guy that can be a one guy, but I don't think it will be bad to have 2 twos. And then because we so good at the tight end spot. Yeah. So that it may work, it may not. But Corey Davis was one of the names that made me want to do this. Him and I think you mentioned earlier, Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson, yeah.
Allen Robinson. And now with Allen Robinson, I just don't think he's gonna take a pay cut to come play with us.
Right.
Because he's in a position, to me, I think in a position in his career where it showed me the money. I think. No, even though he ain't won nothing in Chicago, I just think he's in a position to show me the money. What you think, Brandon?
I feel like he got paid pretty well in his last contract. Obviously, it's always show me the money when you hit free agency, right? But I think that he played with Blake Bortles, he played with Mitchell Trubisky, he played with Nick Foles. I think he wants a real quarterback, and he wants a chance to win something. I got
a real quarterback. Nick Foles.
No.
That man's a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, that he is. So is Trent Dilfer. All right, but,
True that. Okay, true that. Point taken.
Johnson.
I don't think he'll take a pay cut. I don't think Baltimore is going to be willing to pay the high end cost, and so I think he's going to end up somewhere else. Yep. But I do think it is going to be on a team that has a quarterback and has a chance to win.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it's understandable because he does it. He's not an upper echelon number one, but he's a number one. He's the guy that can all those things I asked about for a minute ago. He can do all that. Yeah. He can do all that. And if I'm not mistaken, and I'm probably finna mess my own fandom up, I think Allen's a Miami boy. If I'm not mistaken, I thought.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, not sure.
Yeah, I think he did go to Miami. Miami.
But we was sucking so bad then. I don't even remember. We just now started winning more than 5 games.
He went to Penn State. I don't know where he's from.
That's what I'm saying. Not Hurricane, but I think he's from the Miami area. That's what I'm thinking. But I could be wrong. It's so many boys down there. It's crazy. That part of the country is crazy. How many good football players are down just in that part. They can have its own state down there from Dade, Broward, and Pump, all that stuff down there. It's crazy. Jimmy Dean said he went to Penn State. Okay. So appreciate it, Jimmy. Next thing. Speaking of Penn State and college football, what wide receiver in the draft you think would fit Baltimore style?
So for this one, for me, I don't want them to go wide receiver in the draft, like just because they're so bad at it. Like I want them to go and get somebody proven. We did a Ravens offseason plan. Who they should go after in free agency, mock draft, how much they should pay for all the free agents and everything for our Patreon. And in there, I had them taking Kadarius Toney. In the late first, just because I thought he's kind of similar to what I was looking at with Curtis Samuel. He has some of those similar traits, but like I said, I'm not. I think the draft needs to be all about the O-line. I don't really want them, unless they're able to trade Orlando Brown for a very high pick. And then
so you're thinking if they can get up there and get one of them big four.
Chase, Smith, Waddle. Bateman. Obviously, any one of them. But outside of that, I really don't want them to go wide receiver early.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if it's one of those 4 or 5, they'll fit any one of those guys, obviously, right? But yeah, outside of that, like we said, if we're trading Orlando Brown, our first round pick has to go towards replacing Orlando Brown.
Gotcha.
And then we have to come back and get another tackle because we only had 2 tackles on the team last year, right? Like we need to have at least a third one on there, and then I think we need to go get a center, a solid center that we know, whether it's draft or free agency. Like we need to show up the center position. The guards, I think they'll probably work themselves out, right? Like you said before, we didn't have a training camp. I think that hurt a lot of those guys, like Phillips and Bredesen and Powers. Yeah, those guys will definitely come back a lot stronger, I think, next year. And a lot of those pre-snap penalties they can clean up. So I think the guard position will be fine. But center, we got to get that fixed.
Like, I don't know if y'all caught Sonny's stream earlier, but Sonny was on one today.
Shout out to Sonny, man. Shout out to Sonny.
Yeah. And Sonny wanted to be here, guys, in case you didn't know. But we started at 9 Eastern. It's 3 a.m. where Sonny is right now. So he couldn't kind of hang with us. But he did want to be here. So, and if you don't have Sonny or whatever, you don't follow Sonny, make sure you do go do that. It's SZG Sports. Sonny does a great job with Ravens content. And you know what? Since we got some people just popping in on this time frame they in, let's go bring them in. Bring them out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Who we got
here? What's up, man?
Purple Rain Podcast, Rain Gang.
Yo.
What's up, son? What's up,
bringing up the rear. So, for the most part, we've been through the questions I had, and they've gotten our takes on it. So, basically, what I'm going to do is run through the same 3 or 4 questions I had and get both of you guys' opinion on them. And then, if there's a talking point in there, we'll hit that and whatnot, and then we'll go forward. All right?
Sure.
So,
cool.
First question. Let me get back in my phone. What's a more pressing need, wide receiver or tight end, and why? Alex?
Oh, me? Okay. Tight end for sure. I mean, we utilize our tight ends. Greg Roman loves his tight ends. I mean, as much as I want to say receiver as a fan, look how good Lamar was in 2019 with those 3 tight end sets. Got to go tight end.
And it's crazy he say that because right before they popped in, I was about to give my spiel about why I think we should draft Brevin Jordan first. But I'll say that. Sutton?
Yeah, man. I mean, I have to agree with my guy Alex. I think tight end is probably the most important need because those tight end sets, those 3 tight end sets, we were so lethal, so dangerous. Lamar loves it. Lamar's number 1 targets are tight ends. Just look at Mark Andrews and what he does in our offense. But also, I understand if you were going to say receiver was a more important need because you look at guys like Kyler Murray, you look at guys like Josh Allen. When they got that number 1 receiver, they went from I don't want to say 0 to hero, but they definitely went from, good to noticeably better, And I think the same thing could happen with Lamar Jackson. So I wouldn't be mad either way. But if I had to choose, I'd probably say let's get those 3 tight end sets rolling again. So I agree.
And Brodney and Jose, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're against tight end or receiver in the early. I think both of them said O-line. From not like the first 2 picks, maybe O-line, right?
Correct.
So they're kind of against that. I'm more of the tight end. I'm more of tight end if we don't get a quality O-line guy. It depends on which O-linemen are left, but I really think that 3rd athletic tight end would do wonders for us. And there's only 2 in this draft. One will never be there by the time we pick, which is Kyle Pitts.
Right.
And Jordan potentially could be there. Jordan was the best tight end coming out of high school when he came out, and one of the best prospects coming out of the school in Las Vegas, the same school that Snoop's son went to, whatever that is. But again, so we got tight ends for Sutton and Simply, and Brodney and Jose really didn't want a receiver at all. They wanted O-line.
Now to clarify, we're big on wide receiver. We just want that wide receiver to come in free agency. We want that to be in free agency. Spend the draft on showing up the O-line. Gotcha.
So the second question was, what free agent wide receiver do you think would fit Baltimore's scheme? Sutton, you can take that one first.
I mean, hey, I'm gonna talk about a guy that we talked about in the last episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Me and Alex are big fans of Corey Davis. I think that Corey Davis, he's a guy, I mean, he can come into our offense. We actually did a little bit of research ourselves. Lamar Jackson is a lot better throwing to receivers who are taller, more physical type guys. That's why he's so high rated with Mark Andrews. And then actually leading up behind that is Miles Boykin, his second, highest passer rating receiver, and then Willie Snead and so on and so forth. But the taller, the better, basically. And Corey Davis is a guy 6'3", 210. He can come in. He's a physical guy, catches the ball with his hands, doesn't let it come into his body. Possession receiver, somebody that we need, like that big catch radius as well. So I'm going to say Corey Davis.
Got to second that. Same exact thing. We've talked about it.
I'm going to throw the monkey wrench out there because we spoke on Corey Davis right before you guys got in here. And I said, do you think Corey Davis could be a number 1? And the reason I said that because Corey Davis gets a lot of one-on-ones because he's not the guy. AJ's the guy. So, with that being said, Corey Davis, if he came to the Ravens, he would possibly be the number 1. Can he handle the coverage being drawn to him, so to speak? Can he handle being the focus of the passing game? That was my drawback. But then again, I also came back and said if he's not, us having 2 number 2 receivers wouldn't be bad with as good as our tight ends are.
Yeah.
And we talked about it too. If we got Corey Davis, hopefully maybe Mark Andrews wouldn't be triple teamed, double teamed, as he always is. Because we saw it in the AFC Championship game. How was Travis Kelce being single covered? Oh, that's right. The Chiefs have everybody around him. So if we got Mark Andrews single covered, his numbers would just go shoot up.
Yeah, and I didn't think about that. Because of Tyreek and Hardman and all those guys, they nickel and dimes you to sleep with Kelce with 12 catches. I think that was the AFC Championship game, right? Kelce had like 12, 13 catches, almost at halftime, because you got to stay over the top. So, do we, with that being, if we want to go with that model, that game plan, Duvernay should be a part of the scheme a lot more, because he's a guy that can get over the top of people. Not necessarily catch it, but get the safeties like we talked about earlier. Get the safeties back there.
The
Right,
catching
yeah.
it part's important, though. I mean,
I'll be happy if he can locate it.
The thing is with and I'm gonna bag up a little bit with Duvernay and Prochet. There was this big thing when they came out about their drops in college. Everybody said they were the 1-2 with the least drops in college. But the difference is when you go back and look at tape, and I did it last year with my receiver stuff. Duvernay's catches were bubbles, quick screens, now screens, and stuff like that. So those are high percentage catches.
Woo woo, Lamar Jackson.
Appreciate the
In the
$1.99
flesh.
C Iron. Appreciate the $2. But Prochet's stuff was real routes. Prochet played a lot taller than 5'9", 5'10", whatever. And they say he's 6 feet. They lying. He played a lot taller than that. You know, he just not fast. And if I'm not mistaken, Prochet had 2 plays this year. He had an empty set. He had an empty set where he ran a zig route, caught it for a first down. Maybe 2 games later against the Steelers, they came out in the same formation, ran the same route, the Steelers picked it off. We didn't see Prochet anymore after that as far as in the offense.
yeah, and watching them in college, I came away very impressed with Prochet's hands. You know, he made some spectacular catches. You know, I don't remember seeing him drop anything. You know, in college with Duvernay, you know, he caught things that were within his. You know, he doesn't have very long arms, and he doesn't. You know, despite his athleticism, he doesn't have a great catch radius. But he, you know, watching him, I said, okay, you know, his hands are fine. Not anything special. You know, if the pass is off, he's probably not going to bring it in. But you know, he's not gonna embarrass you with drops, right? I think with Prochet is I don't know if he's going to be able to get open consistently against NFL coverages.
Anybody else want to piggyback off that?
Big trust. Woo woo.
Well, I want to talk about
In the
Duvernay.
flesh.
The Ravens tricked me, man, when they drafted him. Because like B said, like a lot of bubble screens, or Coach, you're saying that a lot, screen passes, and we weren't doing that before. And I thought, okay, they're trying to get those type of receivers, you know, to run more of those screen passes, things like that, and those short routes, and they didn't do it. So that's why you didn't. I think that's why you didn't see him on the field that much, because his route running isn't as polished as a Prochet, right? And we saw that in the one play. In the Tennessee game where, you know, Lamar tried to get to him deep and he just didn't know where the ball was and he gets picked off, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that kind of just limited how much they could use him in the offense. I think they know what he's good at and they just didn't run those plays.
Got you.
And then Duvernay, it felt like all we saw was just jet sweeps. They didn't trust him running routes.
Yeah.
And it felt like just like a Debo Samuel part 2. Hopefully they can utilize them more, but it's a big offseason for the Ravens, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a huge offseason.
Let me cut you right here. I was directed by my son. Everybody that's coming from Votch live stream, man, I appreciate you guys for coming through. Vaughn from Shreveport dropped a 5 in the super chat. He said, Votch D Lombardi sent me over here. What's good, guys? One love. I appreciate it. Shaq Edwards come through with 5 in the super chat. Votch sent me, but I see you guys are Ravens fans. I say you trade up for Jamar Chase or Smith. And they jumping the gun over here. They going off schedule. But with Votch, you know, that's what you expect. His people gonna come through and they gonna gang bang, you know, bail you up. No offense to that, but that's what they do. They just come like gangbusters because it's about 30,000 of them if I'm not mistaken, which is crazy. It's a crazy number.
That's what's up.
But again, and we're gonna basically he's gonna pop in here in a second, which if you don't know, you know now. And we're going to hit him with those same 5 questions. Well, 4 questions. But the last question for Sutton and Alex is, a guy in the draft. What guy in the draft do you think would fit the Ravens scheme?
I'll speak for both of us. We haven't done too much studying on the draft, but I wouldn't mind offensive line or anybody edge that can help us whatsoever. I mean, I know we're going to look in the draft more as it comes, but I don't know any names so far. I'll just be honest.
Okay. I'm gonna throw a name out there, and I think the only way, I think this guy would be perfect with what we do, but there's no chance in HE double hockey sticks that we get him. And that's Jamar Chase. Reason being is, you know, I know Devontae won the Heisman, and we all know what he did at Alabama. But to play with Baltimore, you got to be a blocker also. Devontae ain't blocking nobody.
Nah.
Nobody whatsoever. J Moore, but I think is J Moore's not as fast as Devontae, but I think he can do everything else he can. But you add that bigger body, that more physical style of play to already the physical style of play that comes in Baltimore. So that's the guy I think that would fit us perfectly. But I just know he'll be gone probably in the first 2 to 3 to maybe five picks.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna bring in our last guy, my son. You know, we gotta let him in. You know, I taught him everything he knows. The great, the all powerful wizard of cowboy land. I mean, draft land. I mean, everything land. Voch Lombardi. Appreciate you for dropping through, man. Appreciate you for dropping through.
Man, humbly appreciate you first of all. And I ain't mean to make a big hubbub or whatever. But I was like, hey man, y'all go over there and check out this little round table they got going on. I'm about to go over there in a second. And they was like, yo, Voch, they not shouting us out. We need them to shout us out if we're gonna be over here showing some love or whatever. So like, coach, you need to shout my people out for coming over here. You know what I'm saying? Bumping the numbers like that. But shouts out to everybody on the panel. Salute to y'all. Nice to meet you. All that good stuff.
And I really appreciate you guys for coming through. I wasn't trying to ignore you, but I ignore your people. But I try to let my people finish their thoughts before I say something. But because they came so hard, I had to cut them off and do what I had to do because you don't know when they coming back.
The views, man. The views are always right, man. The views are priority. Come on now.
You right. So not to keep everybody here, we got 3 questions, and then we're going to ask you, and we'll kind of jump in and kind of rebuttal whatever you say, and go because we've already answered these, and so you came in right on time. The first question is, and you got to get your draft / Ravens hat on a little bit. What's a more pressing need for Baltimore, wide receiver or tight end?
So, first of all, if you're a Ravens fan and you're trying to kick Lamar Jackson off a bridge, you're wrong. Okay? So, it's hard to find quarterback. So, what you got to do is you got to find whatever scenario work for the dude that you got. Mm-hmm. So, Lamar Jackson, that he can get you to a promised land of some sorts. So, get him comfortable. So, when Mark Andrews was tearing it up, Lamar was tearing it up, with him or whatever. The league is always going to adjust. So if you ain't got wide receiver help and all you got to worry about is taking away run game and Mark Andrews, then you kind of get stuck in the hole. So in my mind is if you want Mark to be great, then you need to have some outside threat. Dez ain't going to do it. Hollywood ain't that dude. His name ain't even Hollywood no more. His name is Marquise until he earns his extravagant ass nickname. You know what I'm saying? So he's Marquise Brown until he lives up to that first round pick or whatever. But maybe if you had a top tier receiver on the other side, maybe Marquise would get better. Marquise, if he had less safety help on his side, or maybe he could just be somebody one-on-one, just being fast speed guy. I don't know. Maybe that'll open things up down bottom over the middle. Mark will be better, then Lamar will be better. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if it's harder to find true top tier number 1 receiver talent, if you can get it, if you're the Ravens, you can get it, then you should get it.
I appreciate you, Sean Daughter, for dropping 5 in the super chat. I appreciate you for coming through. Yeah, we are Ravens, and remember the last time we played the Chargers, it was ugly, but we coming back. So get out the way when we come through next time to LA because it's gonna get rough. Appreciate you. Though. Next question. Anybody want to rebuttal what Voch said?
No, I agree.
Because to me it sounds like it's just a domino effect. You basically gonna make people same thing we talking about with the Chiefs. They got so many people you got to cover that the underneath stuff is going to be there.
Lamar
you can pick them apart. That's why Kelsey has so many catches.
Yep.
Second question. What free agent wide receiver, because you fell right into this trap, would fit Baltimore?
Give me some names because I don't watch film on free agent guy. I'm draft Voch. I ain't free agent Voch. So give me some names.
I thought you was football Voch.
Hell no.
So the 2 main guys that were brought up in here, and I just use those 2, Corey Davis and Allen
Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
And Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel from the Panthers.
Okay, watch it. Let's do this. Whoever it is, just make sure that it's complimentary of Marquise. Just make sure it's not another Marquise situation. So if Curtis Samuel is going to be a similar kind of guy. I mean, Curtis probably going to do more of a Percy Harvin role type of deal, and he developed into wide receiver. So, I mean, Curtis may be a little better than Marquise at this point because you can do some more things with him. But just make sure that he's complimentary of the offense, whoever it is. I don't know what y'all money looking like over there, but Allen Robinson is the more complete guy, I would say, because if Mitch can play with him, if Mitch can play with him,
and I think Brodney mentioned that earlier, the quarterbacks that he's had to play with. He played with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Who else you said, Brodney?
Blake Bortles, Nick Foles. Like, he's had it rough. He's had it rough.
Oh yeah.
So he probably want to go to a winner, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's gonna take the discount to fit our money. But he would be a good fit also. And since you said you draft guy, what receiver in the draft you think would fit Baltimore's scheme? Don't be quiet now.
Just any of them top three. I like the top three, man. But I don't know. Okay, so look, it's those top three guys, and then it's like a little bit of a drop off to me because I don't think that highly of Tony in that way. So like, are the Ravens going to move up?
Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
You have a general idea of how the style of play for Baltimore, right?
Yeah, relatively.
So, looking at the receivers that you watched so far, what receiver would fit that mold? And I'm gonna give you an example. A young Dez would fit that mold.
Sure.
The old Dez don't. A young Dez would fit that mold.
Sure.
What guy in the draft you see, and we really can take out the top three because we pick at 20 something unless we trade Orlando.
20 something.
So
I hope you ain't looking at like Bateman or nothing like that. I hope you ain't getting into your Bateman bag.
I'm asking you a question. Don't ask me questions. I'm asking you questions.
I truly don't love this wide receiver class. I think it's really good at the top. But I'm not really digging it too far down, you know what I'm saying, towards the bottom. I like Duvernay, to be fair. I like Duvernay. Like,
what'd you like about Duvernay?
So watch this, right? In my mind, Lamar Jackson, if he's going to get better as a passer, he needs to be on time. With the upside of big play. So you need route runners to do that. You know what I'm saying? So whoever you're going to look at, find you a route runner. What I liked about Duvernay found a way to get open. He just found a way to look open. If you look at his LSU game, right, a couple years ago, and Texas, they had all the corners at LSU, but Duvernay was the main one smoking them, getting open because he just found a way to get open. And
but that get open was 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. All that yards was run out the catch.
Hey, do what you got to do. Because watch this. San Francisco, all they do is draft the best yak guys. That's all they do. So
that's what Debo is. That's definitely what Debo is.
Debo, Ayuk, all them cats. So if you got to find a formula for Lamar, hey, look, if we're gonna live with Lamar, and he's a guy that's gotta be on time, he's not gonna be Pat Mahomes, but he's gonna use his legs, he's gonna get the ball to people quick. Then let's get some yak upside with that. So just get some yak guys. Duvernay's a yak guy. Play Duvernay.
Shaq Edwards put 5 in the super chat. He says Amon-Ra St. Brown does it all, and he won't cost you a first. And I actually looked at Amon-Ra today, and he's definitely won't cost us a first. To me he was, now dare I say this, he was average. He did nothing in the 2 full games that I watched or his highlight tape that made me do ooh.
Yeah.
What's his frame? What's his size?
I don't have it right in front of me. He's borderline like 6'1", maybe. Not the fastest guy, but he ain't slow. He got some quick twitch. He got some pop. But he did nothing on tape that like wowed me. But he did the right things. He made the right plays, but nothing just wowed me.
He kind of looks like his brother. Honestly,
yes.
He play like his brother. He's just a regular. I'll catch it if you throw it to me. I'll separate a little bit. I'll make a play afterwards. I'm like my brother. Basically.
And I don't want to say any average guys in the draft either, man. Like, we're not good at developing wide receivers. We need the guys with talent. You know what I mean? Like, guys that
we're
not
too good to get that. No, our record's too good to get that top tier guy. Yeah. And the trip says is Julio Jones out of the question. He's dropped 5 in super chat for that. I think Julio gonna cost a lot, and Julio's always hurt.
Yeah.
But he still plays. He doesn't miss that many games. I mean, this past season he missed a few games, but if you look at it, I mean, he plays through a lot of those injuries, and I'll take it. I mean,
he's 32, maybe.
Yeah,
right around
there.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I saw a lot of Ravens fans get excited about Dez this season. If you were excited about Dez,
I did too.
You decide about Dez, you gotta be excited about Julio, right? I mean, Julio producing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because I definitely got excited about Dez. Hey, we got 10 as Super Chat from Miss Scouting Pro. Said the Ravens and Cowboys have similar needs.
Lamar Jackson.
Orlando Brown wants
In
to
the
play
flesh.
offensive tackle. Dallas is playing Gallup. Send Gallup and a third in exchange for Brown. Nah, straight up. Gallup and Orlando. We getting the better of that.
Shouts out Miss
What
Scouting.
you think about that, Vach?
What's the question again? I was
She
reading.
said send Gallup. You guys will send us Gallup for Orlando because y'all need a tackle.
This is my thing. I don't want to get rid of like things where like I know it works towards my formula. I know Michael Gallup works really well towards my formula.
He does.
And I don't want Orlando Brown to get here and be like, I gotta do this. This is what I'm gonna be, or it's gonna be. I just draft. If that's the case. I'm just gonna draft me an offensive lineman. Give me Slater. I'm fine with that. Keep Brown.
But Brown's you don't know what you're gonna get in Slater.
I don't-
Brown's
I
giving
don't-
you a 3 year good.
I don't know what I'm getting with Brown.
You don't because you watch the Cowboys. We do.
Look, shouts out to Brown. Just because he good over there, don't mean he gonna be good over here. We may run some different type of little system. I don't know. I if you let me watch film, I'll probably have a different opinion. But if I get to choose out of the cheap dude that I can project over the expensive dude, you should look. If that's the case, you shouldn't be so excited about getting rid of the expensive dude. You know, what
I
I'm
don't want to get rid of the expensive dude.
No,
He
not
wants to
yet.
play left tackle, and we just paid
We
him left
don't.
tackle.
saying? Okay, well, I see a lot of Ravens fans that are excited about getting rid of the expensive dude. This
No,
my
I think
old-
it's just because we know
I
we
think
have to.
nobody wants to get rid of him, but he just came out and said, "I want to play left tackle," and we just paid a left tackle.
So why don't you just let him play left tackle and put Ryan at right tackle?
That's what B said.
That's exactly what I said.
That's exactly what B said.
You already
Ronnie
paid
said-
Ronnie Stanley. Just
It's
go
me.
through and say, hey, why don't you play right tackle now?
Because
Yeah.
you need both. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
but nah, I'm not trading Michael Gallup to get Orlando. Shouts out to Orlando, good guy, but yeah, I'm good.
What
All
about
right,
CD Lamb?
So to close this out,
Oh.
yeah, that's what hey,
Can we get
hold on.
Mari?
Before I give you this last, did you guys see? I was on live stream with Vach when they got CD Lamb,
Hey,
and he before this happened, we had this conversation about how YouTubers like go and do this crazy stuff just to get a reaction and get their views up, and he never do that, and he ain't that type of dude, and you'll never see me hoop and holler about something. So they get up there and announce CD Lamb. This dude got an in-house hype man running around that couch that you see in the background. They hugging, the camera falling all over. You see, look at him because he know it right. All this stuff went on, but he was right.
so
He was right.
so I do hate that. I hate the contrived YouTube package. What's happening, guys? Vash Lombardi. I hate that. I hate that thing that they do on YouTube or whatever. But this was different,
Big trucks.
right? This was
Woo, woo.
in
Lamar
January.
Jackson.
Boy, I
In
would
the
love to have
flesh.
CD Lamb on my team, but I don't see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
February. Hey, I think it's a way we can get CD Lamb on this team. March. Nah, I'm bugging. Just to get to the end of April and he make it to 17 when he wasn't supposed to make it to 17.
Nope.
But me and Coach was talking. Man, look, the Raiders probably gonna go for that speed. And they're gonna be wrong. These other guys gonna value defense over receiver. Judy probably go there. The Falcons gonna do something stupid, and we might end up with CD Lamb. And for it to happen like that, it was genuine. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fake YouTube.
It wasn't scripted.
Raw emotion.
Right.
It wasn't scripted. Like I'm not flipping furniture over here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I was genuinely elated that I got my favorite player at 17. So,
So to close this thing out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Jose, Brodney, Sutton, and Alex simply, not simply, that was crazy, I didn't want to use that word, ask you a question about draft or Ravens or whatever, football in general. It don't have to be anything.
Cool.
And we'll close this thing out like that because, I personally I can reach out to you because of our history. But everybody can't get their hands on you to get your knowledge, and then you can kind of spread whatever they ask you. Just drop the W bomb on them. Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
right now though, but I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm not an expert, so if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you I don't know. So
Oh no, that's general. I still do that as a teacher. When sometimes kids ask me questions, I don't know. Let's look it up.
hey, it's February. We got till April to figure this thing out. So don't get let down if I don't know. I don't know.
Like okay, like Vach, I seen your video on Rashad Slater. I know you big on Rashad Slater.
Appreciate
So like if we end up trading Orlando Brown, my take is whatever we get in that trade, especially if it's a pick, we have to turn right around and draft the right tackle.
Yeah.
So one, like, do you think Rashad Rashawn Slater is a good person to pick up to replace Orlando Brown as a rookie. And if he's not available, like, who would be the next person, like, that you think we can get?
He's the best offensive lineman in this class, personally, in my opinion. And that's not nothing against Sewell or whatever, but Sewell got some things that he need to work on. It just happens that all the things that he need to work on, Slater good at right now. So if y'all in the 20s and y'all don't trade down, then you can look at Darisaw from Virginia Tech might be there, but he's kind of lazy and slow-footed. Okay. But a lot of people call Orlando Brown lazy and slow-footed, and they kind of win in the same way. They kind of win being slow-footed, but if they long and they strong and they get their hands on you, that's ball game. So they win similar. But besides that, it's a bunch of guys that got a lot of hype that I don't really like. Like Leatherwood is big, but he kind of plays small. Kind of soft to me. Sam Cosme played for Texas, so people in Texas hype the hell out of him. He's kind of regular, but they'll be fine. Dylan Radunes, write him down, from North Dakota State. He's a Senior Bowl guy. And he just rolled up, beating the hell out of everybody. They didn't say his name because of draft Illuminati pushed the guys they want to draft, but Dylan Radunes lost like one rep maybe, and he's just better than everybody else in the Senior Bowl. So
right there, the one with the crop shirt.
Second.
Was that the one with the crop shirt at the Senior Bowl?
Nah, see, that's the one that they was pushing. That's Quinn Miners from Wisconsin or whatever. It was yeah. Look, watch this, right? They was like, hey man, everybody watch this, right? This is Wisconsin Whitewater kid going up against Notre Dame guy, kid from Notre Dame with a long name. Smoked the hell out of him, right? They went from he's great to he's competing with the Notre Dame kids. You see, nah, he just got smoked. Say he got smoked. They quit trying to hype the dudes y'all wanted to hype, man.
Right.
Stuff. But good question, man. Appreciate it. My bad. I'm sorry.
Rodney, go ahead.
Okay, kind of staying along the same lines there, because Jose and I think that Baltimore really needs to hit the offensive line in the draft. Who would you think is the top center that they would be able to get around 27 in that first round?
Man, for a long time it was Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey was the top guy for a long, and I like Creed Humphrey, but he kind of played on the best offensive line in the country at that time when it was like Ben Powers and Samia and Cody Ford. Bobby Evans was on that line.
Bobby Evans, yep.
And they was really good as a unit on that line. But Landon Dickerson, man, kid from Alabama, watch him. He big as everybody on the line. So they all 6'5", 300. So you can't say, oh well, center, prototypical center, they're like 6'3", maybe. Like they all 6'5", 300, big as hell. Nasty player, looks for work, great in pass, great verse to run, great combo, great second level. Look for him. The kid from Grambling, Senior Bowl guy, showed up and did well. David Moore, pretty good dude. You can probably get him later on. And look, this is a good thing about drafting interior offensive line. I say this to my Cowboy fans all the time. Sometimes what you need ain't really first-round picks. So if you're looking for guards and centers, sometimes they just naturally end up in the third, fourth, or fifth round or whatever. One of my favorite guys, Deontay Brown, or whatever. He had a terrible Senior Bowl, by the way. Just ignore that. But if you just watch his film, he's one of my favorite offensive linemen in this whole thing. But he's probably going to be a third or fourth round pick. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking for interior help, is guys all over the place you can find.
And to piggyback on that, the Trib dropped 5 in the super chat. He says he wants some Creed, and I know who Creed Humphreys is, or Redunce. Who's Redunce?
Dylan Redunce. That's the guy I just told you about from North Dakota State. But he's a left tackle. He's a tackle, but he's not a center.
Okay. And he also says if Tylan Wallace is there, I want him in the third. Now, I discovered Tylan Wallace this weekend. I really like that kid. Do you know who that is, Watch?
What school?
Oklahoma State.
I'm watching him this weekend.
Yeah, he popped a little bit for me. So I really like that guy.
Tylan. Oklahoma State kid. Y'all watch.
Yeah. All right, Sutton, go ahead with your question.
All right, so you're a Cowboys fan, correct, Botch?
Look, 100%, Mr. Wolf.
All right. So, if you were to start your own franchise, your own NFL team, the Vach Lombardis, if you will.
Oh, we went to Super Bowl play with Super Bowl. Y'all ain't going to Super Bowl again.
Who are you? If you had to choose between these two guys, who are you taking? Are you taking Dak Prescott or are you taking Lamar Jackson? Which one of those quarterbacks are you taking?
I'm taking, and let me explain.
Okay.
Let me explain. I'm taking Dak Prescott because I think every quarterback hits this point to where they get figured out, right? So what do you do after you get figured out? How do you improve after that? And I'm constantly having the same argument about Deshaun Watson, right? I think Deshaun Watson kind of has his flaws that he hasn't figured out yet. So I have the same conversation every time. So Dak Prescott, and just for like transparency here, I wanted to kick him off the team at some point. And like at the end of 2017, and Tua was popping in the championship game, I was like, Dak can go because he got figured out. But Dak overcame all that. And that's what you gotta look for in quarterback, right? Not just the natural traits or just the whatever, but you gotta look for what they bad at and can they fix it. So once upon a time, Dak Prescott wasn't deep ball guy. He wasn't placement guy. He wasn't big yard guy. He was just, we won 13 games your rookie year, and then just hand the ball off to Zeke. At some point, Zeke numbers kept going down. But Dak just kept getting better. This is the most impressive stat. This why I think Dak is top 3 right now. This is why I think it is. In 2018, Dak Prescott was second in the league in sacks. He got sacked 58 times. What's his name I just mentioned? Watson was number 1 with like 64 or whatever. So everybody was like, it can't be the offensive line because we got top tier offensive line. How is Dak getting sacked so much? Well, sack is a quarterback stat. Dak went back to the lab, fixed his issues, and got rid of the ball quicker. You know what I'm saying? Dak don't just hold the ball and get sacked no more. So Dak took his 58 number to 23. And I was like, God damn it, boy. That's what you – I said, damn it, that's what you – you know what I'm saying? As you look at a guy like Watson, and I know you didn't ask me about Watson, but I love shitting on Watson every chance I get. You look at Watson, Watson keep getting offensive line help, but he keep leading the league in sacks. And you wonder why. It's because he keeps missing reads. He's holding the ball. He's running around. He's getting sacked. So when I look at Dak, I look at a guy that he hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. But all the problems that he's had, he's fixed it. Quarterback is an intangible position. So if you can find a dude that can identify his problems and fix them, y'all Ravens fans, y'all know Lamar Jackson not perfect and he got his problems. All you want him to do is fix his problems. If you got a guy that you know he can fix his problems, why not run that dude? Why not get that dude and just roll him out there? And people gonna hate Dak Prescott because it's fun to hate the Cowboys. I don't hate nobody for hating the Cowboys. I hate Cowboy fans too. They suck. I can't stand them. They make me sick. But if you watch enough Cowboy football, just watch enough film, Dak Prescott is very impressive. He's a top 3 quarterback in my opinion. He's better than Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson. I'm not gonna say anything about Lamar Jackson because it's a Ravens show, but I like Dak Prescott a whole bunch.
Okay.
That's my reason.
It's safe to say you pick Dak Prescott. Saying all that.
I just do my research, and I hope that all my points I made sense, though. Because I sound like a homer when I say that, but when I lay my argument out, I just want y'all to be like, all right, cool, that makes sense. That's all I ask.
Well, I think, to take the homer part out of it, it helped when you threw Watson stuff in there. That kind of made all your numbers kind of flow together. Because Watson, to me, is an amazing talent, but his worst skill is thinking he can make every play later.
Yeah.
And that hurts him. Alex, go ahead with your question.
All right. So on our podcast, Purple Rain podcast, we just ranked every quarterback.
Yo, son, I hate to cut you off. Me and my chat box laughed for a good little bit at Purple Rain podcast is so interesting of a name, but it works for Ravens or whatever. So we just shouts out to you, player.
He's a Prince fan too, so don't let that. He's a big Prince fan.
Prince is better than Michael Jackson. Go ahead, sir. My bad. Go ahead.
So we just ranked every quarterback, all right? And we had a lot of debate. We put Russell Wilson at elite and Deshaun Watson at great. And we got a lot of slack for it. Would you agree?
You ain't lying.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
I got you.
The hate we got. It was back and forth.
Listen, man, Watson got a lot of stuff to work on, man. And I understand you can what has he done? What's Deshaun Watson done besides, put up the numbers? Like if you look at his playoff record, it's about the same as you would put in a guy of his tier or whatever. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson's terrible. I'm saying that he's about a top 8 or so quarterback to me. But when I get into these arguments, people will paint him as an elite top 3 kind of guy. I don't think Deshaun Watson is elite necessarily. I think he's pretty good. I keep wanting to go back to sacks. But think about this, right? An elite quarterback, right? Let's just say Pat Mahomes, for example. Pat Mahomes just played a Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive line performances I've ever seen. Oh, wow. And he only got sacked 3 times. You know what I'm saying? Because he got rid of the ball, he was able to make things work. He made his reads, whatever, boom, boom, boom. I don't see that from Watson. I see Watson big playing himself to death, right? There was a big portion of his career to where I think he would close his eyes, throw the ball at Nuke Hopkins, and Nuke could just come down with it. And the shit'll just work. And it'll work. You know what I'm saying? They can pretend like Deshaun Watson ain't got help. They can pretend like Deshaun Watson ain't got an offensive line of receivers. Damn, Brandon Cook got like 1,000 yards on 5 different teams. Like Will Fuller at some point had like 7 catches for 8 touchdowns or something crazy like that. Will Fuller not no scrub. These guys ain't scrubs. They not terrible. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson will take some miscellaneous person. DK is good now. DK and Tyler good now. But I've seen Russell Wilson take some miscellaneous people with an offensive line that's horrible. At least Deshaun Watson got, Laramie and Zach Martin, little brother, and Titus Howard ain't great, but he's better than what they had. They haven't drafted offensive line for Russell Wilson in a minute, but he makes more with less. Russell's way more impressive than Deshaun Watson. And I'm not hating on Watson. Watson's top 8. It's just he's not top 3.
Vaughn from Shreveport dropped Deuce in a super chat saying preach Vach, and he always do that. But my question, I'll end it on this.
Look, Coach, I think people from my chat box sent you more super chats than they sent on my show, man. What's going on?
Leave my guests alone. Leave my guests alone.
I apologize. Go ahead.
But before I get out of here, I want to thank the people that were already here and the people you brought in that has made the chat box light up like it has never lit up before. Normally I can kind of go through and scroll and answer questions, but that thing moving a little bit too fast for my old eyes. But this is by far the biggest live stream I've had, and I want to say thank you to all you guys that came in and made that possible. And I'm not talking about on the screen, I'm talking about the guys in the chat box. But I also thank you for taking your time out to come in and share an hour and 15 minutes with me. And I'll end it with this last question for you, Vach.
Okay.
You kind of got a general idea of what the Ravens, went through this season, and the glaring issues were on stage for the playoff game. What person in the draft do you think fits? And just assuming that we pick at 27 or whatever it is, what person do you think fits our need in that spot?
At 27, what player can you get around 27 that's going to fit the need?
Yes.
Can I take the Ravens' past drafts into account?
Yes. You got to take all that into account because of who's already on the roster.
I think y'all going to end up. So, when I watch the Ravens, right, I could be like, the Ravens don't need linebacker. They don't need edge rusher. But y'all will just draft them anyway because y'all ain't going to pay nobody. You know what I'm saying? Y'all will just keep drafting people so that you can keep a healthy rotation of guys. It wouldn't surprise me if one of these edge rushers end up falling to damn 27 and the Ravens end up drafting.
Yeah.
That's not official, but it just wouldn't surprise me because y'all like to keep that rotation of guys going. You know what I'm saying? Let me just say this too, to be fair, since there's this Ravens opinion I've been having, but I ain't really been having a platform to say it because my people more so Cowboys. I really like the fact that y'all told Mark Ingram to sit down and let JK eat a little bit because y'all knows everything just got way better when y'all just let JK take over. So I don't know how much longer Gus gonna be there, but y'all probably get somebody to compliment JK to let JK fly. Let JK fly. I seen some mock drafts where they had the Ravens drafted Najee. I don't know if y'all need to draft Najee necessarily. That's probably not something that y'all should do. It's either offensive line, it's either somebody for Lamar to throw to, or keep the defensive talent role. That's what I think the Ravens should probably end up doing.
Boy, you moonwalked the hell around that question, boy.
Coach, this is my thing. If you asking me what's gonna happen at third,
no. Just what you think. Not, I know, because it's a crapshoot. This whole draft a crapshoot.
27. I don't know who's gonna be at 27 because it's because teams can't draft. The best player in the draft may end up at 27. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who's gonna be there.
I thought you was gonna hit us with the Michigan guy. That's what I thought you was gonna hit us with.
The Michigan Kwity Paye?
Yeah, that's what I thought you was gonna hit us with.
Kwity Paye may not get there.
True that.
You know what I'm saying? A guy like Joseph Osai, you know what I'm saying? Y'all may like him. He's from
Georgia.
Texas. Joseph Osai from Texas.
What's the one from Georgia with the funny name?
Ojulari. Ojulari. He nice too. So it just depends on who's there. And so look, if we on some group chat and the 26th pick is going on, and you ask me who the Ravens gonna pick, I bet I have an answer for you then. Like looking forward, I can tell you then. But as of now, shit ain't no tell.
Gotcha. So, to close this thing out, man, I appreciate you guys for coming through. So, Jose or Brodney, let everybody know where they can find your work at in closing.
Yeah, we're the Lunch Break Hot Take. Just Google Lunch Break Hot Take. We'll pop right up. We do podcasts on NFL, NBA, UFC, boxing, all that good stuff. I'm a Ravens fan. B's a Panthers fan, so you'll get a lot of that coverage on the YouTube channel. But you're gonna start seeing some more NBA coverage. I'm also a Nets fan. B's a Lakers fan, so you're gonna see that on our channel as well. We just put out a podcast today about some NBA rookies. Tomorrow, Wednesday, you're gonna see one about the Valdez and Burchell fight that happened over the weekend. So, all kinds of good stuff, man. If you're a fan of sports in general, man, just follow us.
Brodney, are you going to let him roll with that?
Yeah, just to add on, we have a website, lbhtshow.com. If you like what you heard tonight, you heard tonight, you can hit us up on Patreon, patreon.com/lbhtshow. We have a live show every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So you can roll through. If you have any questions or any topics you want us to cover, you can send us an email at questions@lbhtshow.com.
All right. Sudden Death, Alex, where can they find you at?
You can find me on YouTube at simplyas10. I make sports highlights, edits, anything you want to see, I make it. Also, NFL highlights. And then I share my podcast with my guy Sutton Death here, the Purple Rain Podcast. You can find us there. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, man. Like he said, the Purple Rain Podcast. You can find us. We go live every Monday, every Thursday. Just because the NFL season is over does not mean the Purple Rain Podcast is over. So be on the lookout for more, not only Ravens content, NFL content, other sports as well. We're going to start covering a lot more stuff. So just be on the lookout for that. Purple Rain Podcast. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, no problem. Appreciate you guys for stopping through. And I will say Sudden Death has the best mic.
Yes.
In YouTube.
Yes.
That thing is on point. Like he got it calibrated right or something. His mic is. Let me get close to mine. Maybe I sound like that a little bit. Okay, that's better. Now I sound like it. But I appreciate you guys and Vach, you can take us out. Let everybody that don't know where to find you, where they can find you.
Hey man, thanks for having me. This is the same mic I had since 2014. So I'll be upgrading soon, all that good stuff. But VOCHLOMB, ARDI, Vash Lombardi, everything I break down draft. I do Cowboys during the regular season, but this draft season is for everybody, all 32. So if you're a Ravens fan, I have something valuable for you over on my channel. Whatever prospect you're looking for, I'll be breaking down film over there. That's about it, man. Follow me on Twitter, right brick on my brick.
And the last thing before we close out, if you weren't here at the beginning, tomorrow is my top 9 at 9, the wide receiver edition for 2021. If you pick my top 9, if you send me a DM on IG with the same top 9 that I'm going to present to you guys tomorrow, I'll send you some Sip to Tally merch. The contest closed at 9 o'clock on the dot because that's when I'll start the show. So if you want some Sip to Tally merch for free, let's get your picks in. And keep in mind there are going to be some surprises on that list. So don't just look at somebody's top 9 on the Draft Network or something and think you're going to win, because it ain't. Because I actually watch film on all these guys, and then you see this, whatever this thing up under my eye, that's from watching film.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Coach a YouTuber now, because he wasn't always a YouTuber, but I've seen him grow into what he is now. And this man just basically said the ninth caller get some merch, man. You Hollywood now, man. Come on.
Hey, we go in on that note, man. Hey, this is the biggest live stream I had, man. I appreciate you guys. I couldn't be happier right now, but getting that contest, man, and we'll definitely see Jose, Brodney, Sutton, and Alex soon. Watch it pop in from time to time, but follow them guys, and we just good football people giving you our honest opinion, and probably know a little bit more about our personal team than the big 4-letter networks. You're gonna get a personal experience with us, man. I appreciate you guys.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, any important shots before I close us out?
Mel Kiper is terrible. Holla at y'all.
That's a important shot, man. Appreciate it. Y'all, let me end it, fellas.
Don't say nothing to get canceled.
Right. Ian right there. Hold on, I got one more to Ian before we click.
Peace.
Appreciate you, Bosh, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Thanks for having us on, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Salute.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Salute.